Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode in the series, Meet the Leaders here at Loan Depot. We've got our very own Michael Stowers with us. How's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Great. So, hey, why don't you let everybody know who you are, where you're located, and then a favorite part for me, how long you've been with the company.
Yeah. Branch manager in San Diego. I help oversee an office in El Centro as well, and then we have some folks at Satellite in our East Lake branch. So I've been with the company for 12 years, 12 out of the 29 years I've been in the business now, and a good chunk of that in the East County in the La Mesa area.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think aren't you one of the longest tenured people here? And I know it was through the iMortgage acquisition, but on paper, you're one of the original gangsters.
Yeah, I think that's a nice way of saying I'm old, but thanks, Steve. I am. I actually think that we're the second numbered branch in the system, and I'm the second most tenured branch manager in the system. Actually, probably the most tenured branch manager in the system, since some people have moved up more into management, and I made a move back into being a producing branch manager. So I actually officially think I'm the oldest.
Wow. I wasn't saying the age thing as much as you've been here long enough, you know where everything is, right? Which is a lot of value. It brings a lot of value to anybody that you're working with, how to get things done. And there's a lot of people here that have been, not tenured as long as you. So you just have a lot of knowledge of where to find things.
Yeah. You know what? I agree. I mean, a lot of the great folks that we've added even last year will come to me just because, I have a lot of really good contacts inside the company. And you do kind of figure out how to navigate, I think, a little bit more efficiently, and talk to a lot of people, Steve, about, I think what we're all looking for in the business. You need a great loan officer, with a great company, and you need a great branch in between. And so me and the branch manager that's been here for 12 years, I feel fortunate and grateful that I have a lot of good contacts in underwriting and ops and in other branches and up and down the management chain too.
I totally agree. Hey, so dovetailing off of that, what do you feel sets you apart as a sales leader, just in the industry, and what do you do to stay on top of your game?
Yeah, well, you know what, I'm originating again, and I went back and forth. I spent a few years being a non-producing branch manager. I came in as a top producer, as a producing branch manager, and we went through a cycle where there was some better reasons to be a non-producing branch manager. And I love that part because every day I was just focused on my other loan officers rather than my own personal business. But that said, I went back to producing, and I realized that actually it made me a better manager, being on the front lines, in my personal opinion, that I wasn't competing with my loan officers. It was actually a compliment that I knew exactly what they were going through now, today, especially as the industry has been changing and evolving. It was really good for me to get back on the front line, to identify and really relate to my loan officers.
Yeah, in the 25 years I've been recruiting, it's interesting because we do go through cycles where you can be non-producing and have teams, but this last one was kind of different, and getting back into production. A lot of people just from I don't know if it's ego or pride or what, they have a hard time just transitioning back. But I've always felt like leaders sometimes have the best opportunity if they do get back into production, because they've taught so many people over the years, and just applying those principles. And like you had said, being non-competitive with the people in your branch, but also walking in their shoes differently gives you just a different angle on supporting them and helping them accomplish their goals.
Yeah, it's a lot more collaborative than I had thought it might be, and it wasn't competitive at all. I really don't compete with my loan officers, but I can tell you just from getting back, and this is my second year back to being a producing branch manager, and was able to go from 0 to 22 again, and 22 million the second year, and then about almost 50 last year, and still managing a really great branch. Yeah. And it just, and the game's changed. And again, it's no disrespect to either. I mean, there's great non-producing branch managers and there's great producing branch managers. I've just felt, to your point to the question, is that's helped me be a better leader, because I'm right here growing with everybody. And that's been a part of what I've done over the years. I've gotten a lot of people in the business over the years, ran a lot of loan officer academies, been fortunate enough to have a lot of top producers start as my loan specialist, production assistant. Folks are in Chairman Elite now. And so to go back and say, hey, I can do this again too. That's kind of been a humbling experience, a challenging experience, but ultimately, I think very valuable, not only to myself, but the folks I'm working with in my branch.
Yeah, it has to be. I would totally agree with you. Hey, dovetailing off that into something else I know you're really passionate about is, and San Diego's a huge county, but there's a lot of opportunity for people to really understand, financing around building ADUs on their properties because there's land and there's a huge gap in people that aren't aware of that. Like, how'd you stumble onto that? And like, what can you share that would be valuable for anybody watching this right now?
Yeah, well, we stumbled on it in about 2018 when my opinion, our focus was how are we going to decommoditize ourselves, right? And we started to look at really specializing. And this was again me going back into being a producing branch manager, and I wanted to make sure I had kind of my specialties, my down payment assistance, and the renovation lending. And that was about the time when California was changing their mandates around accessory dwelling units, and we got really involved with the coalitions that were really working on the forefront of what those changes meant to homeowners, how you could monetize your home by putting an accessory dwelling unit on and then being able to rent it out. And that was a really good fit for that renovation piece at the time. And so what we found is it's just another channel of business that we've worked really hard on for the last couple of years, in addition to our purchase business, and we've done some builder business here and there, and certainly business to business networking and our sphere of influence, and then consumer direct that we're trying to participate in. But this whole thing around renovation lending, has become a pretty good percentage of our total volume, because there's a lot of contractors that need to make sure that working with a good company that can close that loan when they're going to start construction, because they're booked out 6 and 9 months, and they can't not have the money available when they're trying to put crews. Yeah, so it's kind of this really cool, kind of hybrid. I kind of think it's a little bit like builder business with contractors, and I think it's a little bit like real estate agent business because it's renewable. And it's super valuable to try to, help talk to folks about how to monetize their home, to help them afford, a mortgage payment, or how to live multi-generational, or how to age in place. And so it creates so many other great opportunities to connect with other professionals, whether it's financial planners, retirement communities. Honestly, there's just so many different constituents out there in the marketplace that become very good partners for us to do that type of business. And even if it's not a renovation loan, a lot of it's cash out, and that's great if it's just cash out first. And then it's really good too, that we've learned and kind of start to specialize and become experts in the renovation piece as well.
Hey, so how much of it is actually renovation? Because it's funny, like I've been recruiting forever and I've always thought there's pockets with renovation and it's really old cities, but like San Diego's kind of unique that way. You have properties with land and this product fits, but what differentiates the renovation loan from the cash out? Kind of like a nerdy question for me, but learning.
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And to even quantify it for San Diego, we did an event. It was hosted by the county of San Diego, and it was all about accessory dwelling units, and it had all the experts on, guidelines and, and permits and all that kind of stuff. And then where the county was at, with their policy, and where the state was at, and it had architects. It was a really cool event. They were selling these things out with people paying, 300-400 people to come and see this stuff. So they actually, county says that they think in San Diego County, there's somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 homes that will undergo renovation or accessory dwelling unit in a year, and that's from zero. And so it's actually a really kind of big piece. So the cash out, to your question, versus renovation, cash out's on current value. The renovation, you can tap into projected value. And so when, our cash out limits are at 80%, if there's not enough equity, that renovation allows you to kind of extend and leverage and stretch to fit the cost of the project, into the projected value. And it allows you to go past 80%. You can go up to 95% on projected value on a conventional home style loan. Yeah. And then if you have a problem with appraised values because there's some issues around market acceptance, which are evolving, it's interesting to see the agencies start to catch up to what's been going on in this space. And they actually attended a couple of the events that we hosted, which is kind of cool. But you could do FHA as well. If the appraisal doesn't come in and fit your budget, there's a way to kind of toggle and pivot and adjust to go to FHA, because it allows you to go to 110% projected value, which gives you more room to do the right, proper accessory dwelling unit. And again, the whole point is you can actually turn your home, into a moneymaker by, putting an accessory dwelling unit on it.
That's so awesome. I know. What's great about our industry is like, there's all sorts of different leaders out there. And like you had said, your boots are on the street, you're walking side by side with everybody collaboratively, but you know, there's such a unique value you create. And I bet this is your brain and how it worked when you were doing the training classes and everything too. It's like you're looking for ways to build a business, and there's obviously a lot less competition there, although people know it's there, they just don't have the experience. And I think that's a huge part of, like, you know, an additive part of you as a manager and leader and anybody that works with you. So for anybody watching this, you know, I'm sure this is one of many things that, you know, speak to you and your differentiation, but I still find it fascinating because nobody really does, you know, renovation doesn't really resonate with California as much. And you've done a great job in San Diego of really, you know, creating that niche and working it really, really well.
Yeah, well, thanks. I really do feel like we're kind of, in the lead on this in our community, in our area. And I know because I see some of the other folks are getting involved, great people. But you're right, California is a little bit, I don't want to say late to the game, but renovation just hasn't, been, here what it's been in, in other places in the country. And I think this is really changing that. And it goes, I think you, Steve, asked me, or I saw somewhere you were asking about, some of the things that we're looking for with folks in the branch. And I think that piece is a part of it in terms of our local culture, our personality. Is I think we're really a group of folks that want to kind of do lending with purpose, be difference makers. I mean, we want to be best of class in our own community, in our own neighborhood, in our own branch, along with a company that's best of class. And I think that, folks that, want to learn, grow, they're humble enough to learn and grow, they're hungry, and they're smart, and they want to be the future of lending. That's kind of what we've been thinking about and talking about and working on together. It's just, we want to win. We want to make a difference, to the agents, to the clients, to the community. And I think you see those types of folks in our branch.
Absolutely. Hey, so all the business stuff aside, who is Michael Stowers outside of work, and what do you do to kind of, turn off the business side and live a little?
Yeah, well, with that question, I have to say and share and remind you that my wife runs our marketing. So
there's a little crosstalk at the dinner table, huh?
Yeah, so I don't know if I ever get away. I don't know if I ever get away from it, but she's amazing. I mean, what she's done, what she's done for the branch and what she's done in her career is amazing. She can consult and kind of do marketing audits and coaching, real time in the branch. And she's a real asset to the loan officers that work for us. But for me outside of the branch, I mean, I have 4 kids. They're all grown up. A couple of them are still around. But my oldest son works with me, and he's one of our top producers, chairman of the league. He's amazing, but I love spending time with kids, and I love to read, and I love to run. I've been a runner, run a bunch of marathons. In fact, actually, one of the things that we've done over the years is sponsored a half marathon with the city of El Cajon, and that's been a fundraiser, for a lot of years. We actually did kind of a virtual event and just raised $15,000 for a local charity, and it was really neat to give them that check. So. Yeah, that's some of the things that we do. We really enjoy being connected to the community.
Any good book suggestions as a final question?
So Mindset, Carol Dweck is a Stanford professor, psychology professor, one of the best books that I've ever read, and it's referenced in every other book that I think I've read since I read it. But the one I'm on right now is called Serendipity Mindset. The Serendipity Mindset, and it is really kind of surprisingly cool. Just how you can develop smart luck, by looking for it. Yeah. So that's my favorite late book.
I'm gonna download that one today. Well, I appreciate it. I know we're gonna be doing a lot of work this year, and you had a fantastic year in 2020, and excited to work with you.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the time.
Yeah, you as well.